We've all heard these stories, maybe we've even seen them happen to people that we know, but why is it that some people can inherit property and assets from their parents only to sell everything and squander their entire inheritance and end up as paupers? Why does this happen? And this is what I'll be talking about in this video. If we haven't met, my name is Natasha Chumia. I am the founder and director of Diaspora Connect, and on this channel I like to give you information and inspiration on the Zambian property market. So in today's video, I want to talk about this trend that we've seen where people inherit property and assets from their parents. They sell everything and squander all the money and end up as paupers a few years later. Why does this happen? So let's talk about it in this video. First of all, before I go into it, I just want to give credit to George Mutonga, who posted this question on LinkedIn, and it aroused so much debate and discussion that I thought it would be something really interesting to do a video about. So here we are. Now, like I said, so there's some people who are able to inherit from their parents and they're able to multiply it, but too often and too many times we see grown children go the opposite end of the spectrum, where they end up as destitute, they end up depressed, they end up squatting on land which their family once used to own. So I wondered, what is it that causes this to happen? Is it a cultural thing? Is it an educational thing? So I wanted to tease out some of the reasons why people think that this happens, and of course I want to get your views at the end of it. One of the reasons that people say that this often happens is they actually blame the parents. So they say that their parents are not leaving their children with the ability to make good financial choices. When you look at our friends, the Indians and Chinese, they have a totally different approach to money. They actually teach their children about money from a very young age. They teach them how to make money, where to find money, and how to grow money. Whereas us, on the other hand, sometimes we tend to leave our kids out of the discussion about money, out of discussions about business. And so when we die, they don't really know how we generated that wealth to begin with. And so how do we really expect them to build on it and multiply it? We actually don't teach them good financial management. And that's why they end up squandering an inheritance. The second reason, and this kind of ties into the end of the first reason, some people say that we're actually spoiling our children. So whereas we had to work really hard to get the things that we have now, we just hand over everything to our kids on a silver platter. Because of that, children don't appreciate the value of investing, and they don't realize that these assets appreciate and grow over time. Some people even say that we shouldn't leave our kids property. All we should do is give them an education, and after that, let them fend for themselves. Let them build whatever property and assets they want to do. But if we take away that sense of entitlement, then it might push them to actually use their knowledge and their own skills to create their own wealth. I think that's a bit too harsh, but I can understand where that point of view is coming from. The third reason why some people think that grown children squander an inheritance is because they feel that entrepreneurship and wealth creation is something still really new. When you look at the real estate sector, it has really only been growing as a sector in the last 20 to 25 years. And so as a result, we don't know how to be good stewards of those assets. Whereas when you look at some other countries, when you look at some other cultures, they have a much more entrenched history of having wealth and having assets than we do. And so when it comes to our children or grown children, they don't have a very strong foundation of how to manage wealth. Now, the fourth reason why some people think that people often squander an inheritance is the education system. So some people say the education system is so outdated. Now, this is a debate that happens around the world. A lot of people think that our education system hasn't served us, and it's certainly not serving our children. And what the education system is doing is just training people to get jobs in government or jobs in private sector. And you can't really expect that somebody will just wake up and decide that they're going to be an entrepreneur, that they're going to be able to manage everything that's been left to them. And there is some credence to that argument, because some people will say that because that person isn't naturally an entrepreneur and doesn't have the skills, that if they can't get that job that they were trained to get, then when they get that inheritance, then they're just going to spend all of it. So it's really incumbent upon us as parents, but even as adults, to further our own education. Where do we see our gaps in our own knowledge? And how can we invest in our minds so that we know how to create wealth? And most importantly, we know how to manage it, and we can pass that on to our children. Nowadays, there are so many free online resources, this channel being one of them, where you can learn more about property, you can learn more about personal financial management, and so we can learn how to better ourselves through many, many free online platforms. We don't even have to pay for this knowledge anymore. And once we increase our own knowledge, then we're better able to equip our children to cope and to even rise up when we're not there. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your views? Why do you think grown children squander their inheritance? I would love to see your comments. So leave your comments in the comment section below this video, and let's keep the debate and the discussion going. So if you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our videos. We're putting out a lot of content on property, on real estate, and you don't want to miss any of it. If there are other Zambians in your community who are interested in property back home, then please feel free to share these videos with them. Connect with us on social media. We love chatting with you there. And if you want some free resources, then there are tons on our website. You'll find our website address below this video. You can go there and find free guides and free tools that can help you as well. But in the meantime, bye for now.